Alright, welcome back everyone to the next episode on SAP Fiori Security Training with me, Anubhav. In our last session, we talked about the concept of creating our role for administrator, the Fiori Security Administrator, who's a Kim, the username is B user. This person is responsible for creating all the Fiori content, which is for the custom as well as activating standard Fiori apps in your company. We have also seen how can we assign application access to a business user by looking at the role into into the Fiori app reference library for given set of applications, so that the business user can function all the and access all the applications relevant for their roles in the company. So we took an example of sales representative. We found a sales representative role through the app, and then we granted the access. But usually the security scenarios are not so straightforward the way we saw yesterday. The companies want to give as less as possible security to the people in the network. But in order to understand how the SAP content is structured, we need to today understand first a custom tile creation process end to end, including creation of catalog, role, creation of business catalog, creation of group, creation of tile, and how do we connect our custom Fiori applications to SAP Fiori Launchpad. So I assume everybody is aware of Fiori development process. We have also discussed the development process at the beginning. So today's goal and use case, we will be looking at end-to-end deployment or end-to-end tile creation and providing access to user. So this is what we wanted to learn. So as a steps, what is our use case? Our use case is we have a custom Fiori project running with 10 plus developers in the company. These developers are developing custom Fiori apps. We will use the Fiori security concepts to make the custom Fiori app accessible for the end user. Now, prerequisite. Prerequisite is there is already a development team who is aware of Fiori app development. So this is the prerequisite. I am not going into development part because if you're interested on this part, join my UI5 training because this is covered there. I will look at only from the perspective of security. So from that perspective, I assume there is already a team which is doing development. Like any team does Fiori app development. They are using the Fiori development using Web IDE. Right now, Web IDE, I know many of you will say, Anubhav, Web IDE is dead. Why are you showing Web IDE? But I wanted to show you till today, majority of the companies still using Web IDE, 70% of them. When I go and talk to them, see them, they already have license of Web IDE, they're using Web IDE, they're used to Web IDE. Yeah, of course, the second half of this course will look at the alternate options of Web IDE. We will completely eradicate Web IDE. But for now, let's assume they are using Web IDE for development. They will deploy the app to SAP system. And we already learned in the past chapters that the Fiori app is deployed as a BSP application. So this is all prerequisite for me as a Fiori security consultant to give access to my users. Now, what is my duty as Fiori security guy or administrator? My duty is to create a catalog which contains the tile for Fiori app, create the tile, and target mapping. I'll explain you each and every bit of it. Next step will be create a business group, a group. Like you saw already, the group is where you drag and drop the tiles from the catalog to group them together. So you create a group, create a role, and assign to the business user. In our case, Alex is the business user, and see if Alex can access that app. So we will learn each and every bit of it step by step. I know I have covered this topic in my Fiori basic training, my Fiori development training, but there it was very bare minimum. It was like just a plain vanilla flow, but I didn't even explain there properly what are all the different aspects we need to keep it in mind. Why catalog, why this, why that. I didn't even give definition. I just went through a plain vanilla flow in that training. And I promised you once we go to advanced training, we go more detailed one. So now let's understand first a catalog. So what is a catalog? So now definitions. If somebody asks you in interview, what is catalog? Yes, what should you say? So catalog is a home of or is a collection of all the tiles. Each tile represent precisely one application. But why do we create catalog? We create catalog to package all tiles together according to team, functional area, application, component, yes, functionality, area of responsibility. These are all the different ways by which we can package and collect all our Fiori apps together. How a tile is created. So how exactly, what are the important aspect when you want to create a tile? So a tile is nothing but a square box which provides entry point for an app. It consists of two parts. The first part of the tile, please mute your line. Thank you. So the first part of the tile contains the square box itself, the tile properties, and the second part of the tile contains it contains the semantic object. A semantic object is consist of two parts, basically intent, not semantic object, intent. A intent is consist of two parts, semantic object and action. Okay, let me take these definitions on the next slide. It will be more clear when I explain them. Just align my content a little bit. Yeah. So let's put here the organization content. So we have a tile which is a square box. It has tile properties like title, subtitle, icon, etc., etc. Then we have intent. Intent is made up of semantic object and action. We will discuss more about intent later point of time. So in a brief, if I would like to say what is intent, intent is composed of two parts, semantic object, or let me explain it. What is semantic object? A semantic object is the business object which is involved in the activity or basically area of interest, to be very precisely. Like what could be example of a business object? Sales order, purchase order, outbound delivery, customer, vendor, yes, sales. Could be anything related to business object. That is what is called area of interest. We call semantic object. There are two types of semantic objects. One is SAP delivered and one is we can create ourselves. We will go deeper into semantic object later on, not now, but just give you a brief introduction. Then action. Action defines the purpose of our Fiori application. Why do you need this Fiori app? That's what it defines. It indicates of the activity which we want to perform on business object. That's what we want to perform on business object. Example: create, change, manage, track, yeah, maintain, yes, delete, update, execute, analyze. These are all different actions. So now suppose if I want to develop a Fiori application which is going to do create, read, update, delete of sales orders. So what will be my intent? Can anybody tell me? What will be your intent if you want to build an application which will do create, read, update, delete of sales order? What will be your intent?
Sales order manage.
Very good answer. That is your intent. When you look at the intent from the business point of view, it is very apparent and very clear what this application will do. This application will manage. Manage मतलब create भी करेगी, read भी करेगी, delete भी करेगी, update भी करेगी. सब कुछ आप कर सकते हो. किस चीज के ऊपर? Sales order के ऊपर. That is what is called intent. Intent is made up of two parts: the semantic object and action. You see, semantic object here is sales order dash the action. Now, one question to all of you: if I wanted to check status of my purchase orders, or if I wanted to check status of a delivery, a sales order delivery, what will be your intent? What will you give as intent? If I want to check status
Yes.
of delivery, when you buy
The
something on Amazon, you order something on Amazon, you open Amazon,
sales order track.
very good, very good. You can use outbound delivery dash track. What is my delivery status? When will this order reach to my home? I've ordered some watch on online, I ordered a shoe online or a smartphone online. I wanted to check. This is what makes your intent. Everybody, are you clear what is intent? Is this clear? This is very important for navigation of an application. Now, one important note to note: every application in entire system has unique intent. It will never happen that two apps share a same intent. Never, ever happen. Two apps having same intent, impossible. Each Fiori app in entire system will always and always have precisely one intent, which is a combination of semantic object and action. Okay, yeah. So that is what intent. We call intent also sometime target mapping, or sorry, using this intent we can create a target mapping. So target mapping maps the intent with the actual Fiori app. Okay, so basically when you create a tile, you will give tile properties, you will give an intent, and then you will map this intent to a Fiori app inside target mapping. So target mapping is basically a process of mapping intent with your Fiori app. Now it is not necessarily Fiori app. It could be a GUI app, web GUI app. It could be a T code, transaction code. It could be WebDin Pro app. Could be anything. So basically a target mapping contains the mapping information. It will tell that when this intent is fired, which app to open. Okay. So जो intent है ना आपका, it's very important. If you see, it is in the middle of tile property and mapping. Okay, so basically you have on one side your Fiori app or any app, and on one side you have your tile. इन दोनों को लिंक कौन करेगा? Who will link the tile and Fiori app? Can anybody guess? What will be the linking factor? इन दोनों को link कौन करेगा? Who will link them? What is the connector between them? Can you guess? What is the
Intent.
connector?
Launchpad.
Target mapping is the connector. Target mapping will connect these two guys. So your target mapping is responsible for connecting them. This is your target mapping. This bubble here which you see is your target mapping. It will connect. And the target mapping, which means target mapping will share both the things. This also, so some part from here, some part from here it will take. And that common thing is intent. Don't worry, I'll show you it in the system. So a intent is going to be common between the target mapping and your tile. Now, if you notice, it is very modular. What is the advantage of making modular stuff? Can anybody guess? Why we make things in life modular? What is the advantage of making things life modular? Ease of maintenance. Very good example. Let me take you a very real life practical example of modularization, which you all will easily understand. Lego logs. Have you seen these kind of Lego logs in your childhood days? Have you seen them? Yes, I have played that game for sure. And I'm sure many of you have also played this such a game. Lego logs. इससे बढ़िया कोई मॉड्यूलराइजेशन का एग्जाम्पल नहीं हो सकता. No better example than this of modularization. Yes, Lego logs home construction kit. So if you see, these are the best example of modularization. क्या होता है? What do you get in Lego logs? You get these tiny pieces, right? You get these small pieces like this, right? And why it is like this? Because you can construct a car, a bus, a train, a house, a bungalow, a multi-story apartment, any kind of thing you can construct according to your need, according to your design. You can give any shape because they are modular. They're small pieces. And when you get modularity in any design, it is super easy to customize. It is super easy to maintain. It is super easy to work with that thing. It makes the life much easier. You can plug and play anything. Everybody clear what is modularization and what is the advantage of modularization? You do it very often in programming, but many people after 10 year, 20-year experience, they don't understand modularization. So this is the simplest and the best example of modularization. Okay, so why did SAP kept these three separate? Because of modularization. I could have created just one tile and in that everything I could have put, but no, SAP did a modularization. I'll tell you the reason also. Let's say I want to create two tiles. Okay, I want to create two tiles but for same application. It should point same application. Two tiles pointing to same application. Why I need to create two tiles pointing to same application? The reason being, sometime the tile title will be different. So one group of user, I wanted to show tile title as, let's say, tile 1, and another group of user I wanted to show tile title as tile 2. It is not possible to change the tile title dynamically in the launchpad. So due to business need, I would need two tiles, but eventually they all will point to the same Fiori app. Now, since I modularize, I just have to create how many target mappings? How many target mappings I have to create? Just one. So for two tiles, I will create just one time target mapping and I can reuse it again and again and again. Is this clear, everybody? The advantage of modularization, right? So don't think that, I don't need two tiles. Why Anubhav is saying two tiles? Guys, maybe you don't need, but can you take guarantee of all the companies, all the 85,000 customers of SAP? Can you take guarantee of them that they will not need multiple tiles? Don't think just from your perspective. Think from a global perspective, a broad perspective. Why SAP designs something of this sort? Because they are not keeping you in mind alone. Maybe some things you may not understand. You may think, what is the need of it? It's excessive over engineering. But SAP design software for market. They don't design for you alone, for your or just for your company alone. They design it for market. And the concept when they design, it has to be robust. It has to be designed in such a way that it should work for everybody. That is very, very important aspect here. So if you look at this whole design of semantic object and tiles, it is very modular. And you will see in a minute, whatever I explained, you will see it in the system. So first we learned about catalog, then we learned about a tile, then we learned about a semantic object, which is a combination of, basically we learned about intent. A intent is collection of semantic object and action. Then we talked about target mapping. Target mapping links your semantic object, your intent, with the actual application. The fourth and the last step is creating a group. So you already know the group. We already spent ample time yesterday on the group. We saw some groups also. So group is used to group tiles logically from business point of view. Yes, that's what group does. We never create tiles in group. You are not allowed to create tiles in the group. Then I said just now, it's a group of tiles. And now I'm saying we are not able to create the tiles in the group. Then how will the tiles come to the group? If you paid last class, you can answer.
Through catalog.
Yes, very nice answer. Yesterday's class I discussed, we reference tiles in the group from catalog. उठा के पटकना है बस आपको. You just have to drag and drop the tiles from the group, from the catalog to the group. So let us see one end-to-end scenario of 1, 2, 3 and 4. These four things I would need. Last but not the least, we will eventually need a role. क्योंकि यूजर को ना तो आप कैटलॉग असाइन कर सकते हो, ना आप ग्रुप असाइन कर सकते हो. I repeat in English, you can't assign a user neither a catalog nor a group. You assign user a role. A role is what you grant to a user. So a user will be granted a role, and inside the role we will have the catalog and the group. So eventually user will see, once user is granted the role, user will eventually see the tiles on their launchpad. Okay, so let's take our use case. What is our use case for today? So we are running a custom Fiori project in our company, and developers have built the app, and this is the prerequisite. So a developer had built the app and they already deployed the app on the system. Now I'll start with this last step just to show you how developers will deploy their app to the S4 HANA system usually. So this makes it little bit more, it's little technical for those who come from security background, but just you get a little different perspective. How do they do it? So a developers will use the tool called WebID. Let me open a WebID tool. So this is how the tool will look like, and then these developers will log into WebID. So this is developer's job, not your job, but I'm just showing little bit of what these developers will typically do. So they will build an app. So I will just quickly build an app. Yeah, building an app is not difficult, anybody can do it, but I'll just build an app quickly. So I'm going to right click, create a new project from template. I'm going to be little fast here because this is a more of a development work. We have already done this in the past training more in detail. I'm not going to spend time on this part. If you want to learn how to do development, please subscribe my Fiori foundation training. You have in Fiori training. So I just create a new app called Z Fiori Dev. and I will give a namespace. Let's say anubhav.training, and I'll say description app, something I will give, and then I'll say next. I will select the SAP system. So those who don't come from development background, just close the eyes. Don't pay attention to this part. It's not for you. This is only for developers. This is developer's job. Okay, GW sample basic. I just pick up a service randomly. Just put a title. Just creating an app for business partner. And the sales orders of business partner. So just a simple Fiori app we developed, and let's test this app. And log in, and you can see there is this Fiori app. Nothing exceptional, just a simple Fiori app. I don't care what is it. Yes, I just wanted to create a app out of the box. So it created an app, something is coming. I don't care what is it. As a Fiori security consultant, I really don't give a damn to what they've done. So now the development team will deploy this app. So right click, deploy to SAP system, choose S4HANA, and now they will deploy it as a BSP applications. This is the duty of your Fiori developers, our first course, our first training which we did. Let's put a name called Z Fiori App Dev. So developers Fiori app, and I'll put it in my local objects $tmp. So where does the eventually app get stored? It gets stored in the local object. Click on next, finish. The app gets stored. So now it's deploying the app, you can see, and in few seconds this Fiori app will get deployed. So I will go back in the meanwhile to my SAP system. I go to SEAT, and then I will show you that this app will be available in my local objects because it was deployed by developer. So developer will tell you where did they deploy the app. This information will come to you from the developers out of the box. So that's a prerequisite for you to get started your job, your journey. So now you will see here there has to be an app called Fiori Dev. Yes, here it is. You see developer Fiori app, and you see some all the content have come. So a developer build an app and then they deploy this app to the SAP system, and they tell you the app name. This is the app name. Yes, this is what they tell you. Till here the job is done for a developer. Now this is what I mentioned as a prerequisite. So a developer deployed an app, they told you the app name. Now your duty starts. अब हम लोगों का बारी है. So how do we secure, how do we give access of this app one by one, step by step to our business user? So what is that you will use to make your app accessible by developers? Anybody? What is that you will use to make your app accessible by developers?
Launchpad designer.
Yes, Launchpad Designer. Fantastic. So let's open Launchpad Designer. So I'm going to switch over back as a Fiori security consultant, and I will open Fiori Launchpad Designer /UI2 slash FLPD conf. Now, yesterday's session, I promised you I'll tell you the difference between conf and cust. So what is the conf means and what is the cust means? So let's understand quickly the difference between what is conf and what is cust. This is a very important topic. Everyone should understand what the difference between conf and cust. Yes, those who are working on the launchpad at least. So let's come back. This was also a question in the past. So this brings me to a very important difference and a topic between configuration versus customizing versus personalization. People with 15-year, 18-year, 20-year, 25-year experience, I've seen they can't explain this in interview. It's very unfortunate and I feel pity about them. In interview, they can't even explain this. So let me open up here for all of you this question now. Who will tell me properly? I don't want gyan and stories. I don't want big Ramayana. I want you to crisply tell me what's the difference between configuration, customizing, and personalization if you're sure about it. No one?
Configuration is something in standard SAP that SAP has provided an option that we can tweak. Customization might be completely a custom solution that the standard doesn't cater to. And personalization, I would say, is something user specific. I'm not sure.
You just said configuration can be tweaked.
Yeah.
No, no. So configuration ideally is the client independent. Customization is client dependent and personalization is user specific.
Love you. Perfect answer. Perfect answer. Okay, let me explain what he just told. Let's write configuration. Please mute your line, everyone. Customizing, personalization. I will first take an example to explain this, then we will write down the definition for these. Let me take an example of Google. When you open gmail.com, where do you see the logout button of Gmail? When you open Gmail, where do you see the logout button? On the top right corner. Do you guys agree? Nobody works on Gmail. So when you open Gmail, where do we see the logout button? You will see the logout button on the top right corner. Agreed? So this is how Gmail looks like. And you will see it on the top right corner. Usually the logout button will be displayed on the top right corner. So you see this small user button there on the top right is where you see. Is it possible for you to change this button color or this this button position? Can you change this button position? No, na. Can you remove this Gmail logo permanently? Is it possible to remove this Gmail logo? Can you remove this compose button? And can you change the label of the compose button? Can you remove this refresh button? This refresh button? No, na. Exactly. That's a configuration. So configuration is a stuff which is provided by the vendor or the company who is shipping the software to you, and it is fixed. No matter इधर का उधर हो जाए, जमीन फट जाए, आसमान गिर जाए, you can't change it. It's provided by system. It is given by the software developer or software vendor. You can't change it no matter what you do. Impossible to change. And when I open Gmail and when you open Gmail, some of you are from US, some of you are in Canada, some of you are in Australia, South Africa, Singapore. When you open Gmail in India and when you open Gmail in South Africa or Australia, would you see the position of these buttons? Will it change? Will it change the position of the buttons? In South Africa, Europe, UK, no, no, it will remain same. Which means even you change your country, even you change your location, even you change whatever you want, this is fixed. It is same for everybody, which means in SAP system, if we map, configuration is provided by SAP. It's fixed. It is irrespective of client. So when you log in SAP system, the first field SAP system asks you is a client field, right? It asks you a client field. Now you can log in client 100, 001, 800, 850, 350, 200, whatever. Configuration is going to be same for everybody. पूरा का पूरा सेम रहेगा, बदल नहीं सकते आप उसको. Impossible to change. It is same for every client, every user in the system. It doesn't even matter where you are, which system, which client you log in, which server you log in doesn't matter. It remains fixed. No, nothing can affect your configuration. Okay. So let's talk about configuration quickly. So let me write down the definition. So settings which are applied at entire system level. Okay. Entire system level, irrespective of, I'm talking in context of SAP now, irrespective of client. So when you log in, you give a client property. So it is client independent. One of my friend told client independent. Very good answer that was. It is client independent. It is applied cross client across all entire system. The entire system is affected. So if we create a tile in Fiori Launchpad Designer in conf mode, remember the T code /UI2/FLPD-conf. अगर उसको खोल के आप कर रहे हो, then this change, this tile will be visible to everyone in the system. It can be made available for everybody in the system. Everyone can use. If you give access, proper access, everyone can use this tile. Yeah. So we should ideally, it's a good practice. Ideally use always the conf layer for the tile. Always use the conf layer for the tile. That is what we should always use, the conf layer. This is why I most of the time use T code /UI2/FLPD-conf, because I want the tile which I'm creating to be visible for everybody in all the clients. And sometimes people by mistake they read some internet blogs and they create a tile in customizing mode, which means now you made by mistake it in client dependent. उसी client में दिखेगा वो tile, कहीं नहीं दिखेगा, और फिर बाद में रोते हैं कि मेरा tile बनाया वो दिख नहीं रहा है. Because that tile is created in the customizing mode, it will only be visible in that client. It won't be visible in other clients. You should never create tiles in custom mode, never, until unless there is a specific need to be done in a customer mode, because it's a system level. Conf is system level. Always it is recommended to create tiles in the conf mode. याद रखना दोस्तों, बहुत important है. Interviewer will ask you what is the recommended option. Launchpad Designer has two transaction code, FLPD conf and FLPD cust. What is the right transaction code you will use and why? Yeah, why? So the correct answer is ideally it is recommended to use conf mode, the configuration mode, because the tile which is created in conf mode can be made visible at entire system level irrespective of client. It is client independent. Now comes is customizing. Let me take again Gmail example. Sometimes on Gmail, you will see Google ads will come, right? Gmail ads will come on the right side. Have you seen guys this kind of ads on the right? Have you seen this kind of ads on Gmail? Yes or no? Anyone? Yes or no? These ads have you seen? Yes or no? Have you seen these ads? Yes? Ads? Now, if you are in India and if you are in US, will you see same ads? Will you see same ads in India and US? Exactly. Bam. Why? Why you not see same ads? Because if I have a cake shop, in Jaipur, and if the person is logging in Gmail from Atlanta, if I am giving him an ad of Jaipur cake shop, can he purchase the cake from Jaipur cake shop? He can, maybe online, but he will not get delivery at all. The cake will get stolen before it reaches to Atlanta. Yeah. So it doesn't make sense to show him the ad according to his locality. Correct? That's what makes more sense, according to locality, according to the region, according to its area of coverage. So Google is very smart. What Google does, they will show the same Gmail, everything is same, but the ads which will come in your Gmail are depending on your choice, depending on your age, depending on your cookies, depending on your area, depending on your country. Yes, depending on the nearby businesses, depending on your personalized Google search, the most recent Google search. So it is very much customized. This area of Gmail is customized. It will be changing every time depending on the area, country, region. Yes, again, you don't have control. Can you decide which ad you will see here? Can you decide as a user which ad do you see here? Can you decide? You can't decide. अपने आप आता है. It will come automatically. Yes, it will come automatically. I can't decide. So if you go to Anubhav trainings, we also have tie up with Google. Google is advertising heavily on Anubhav trainings. So if I go to Anubhav trainings, even I am the designer of the website of Anubhav trainings. I myself designed this website, Anubhav trainings. Still, when I go to Anubhav trainings website and I go to my course page, you see this ad. I can't control it. As a user, you can't control it actually. So this ad you see, which is coming on Anubhav training, this ad, I can't control it. If I go to Launchpad page, you'll see perhaps more ads there. So all the ads which comes on the left and right side on the Gmail, you have no control on them, yet they are not specific across the globe. Those ads, you see this ad, oil skimmers. Yeah, I can't choose it. It's according to the company, country, yes, different choices. So yesterday I donated something on the keto, so now it's showing me keto ad here. Yeah. So what happens is it will automatically come these ads. I have no control on these ads. Perhaps I can just go and delete this option and I can say stop seeing this ad. But there are eventually the loading, initial loading of ads is depending automatically. It's automatic, and that is according to country. That brings me to the next point is customizing. Customizing is done on top of configuration. It cannot overwrite configuration, okay, but it is done on top of it. So settings which is applicable for all users, all the users it will affect, belonging, but there's a condition, belonging to a particular client. So the Gmail example, all the people sitting in Atlanta, they will see similar ads. Atlanta shops, Atlanta flower shop, Atlanta cake shop, Atlanta sightseeings, Atlanta services, Atlanta tours and travels. Yes, if you are sitting in Jaipur, then you will see Jaipur specific ads by Google. Jaipur flower shop, cake shop, haircut, yes, tattoo making, all the different. If you are in Goa, then you will see perhaps cashew shops, Goa biking, water sport adventure. You will see depending on your area. Similarly, in SAP system, we have client. Client is very important. It represents a business entity. When you log in, you will give always a client. So all the changes which are client dependent, इस client में अगर मैं log in किया तो मेरे को अलग screen दिखेगा. If I change the client and log in, let's say with 100 client, I would see perhaps a different experience, a different purpose. So different clients, sometimes SAP systems are designed with multiple clients to support development quality in one single machine, one single server. You have a dev client, you have quality client. So let me show you one system my client has. So there is this system, and you see we have multiple clients here. So we have testing client, we have golden client, we have customizing client, we have sandbox client, we have infra client, we have DPL client, we have unit test client, we have golden client. So different clients to save cost people will create. So if you want a tile to be created and that tile you want to be visible only in this client, when people log in with this client only, then you want it to be visible, then you will use the client dependent things, and that's called customizing. So if there is a requirement in your company where your manager says make a tile visible only in this client, when I log in other client, this tile should not be visible to the users, then in that case you will open this T code, to design the launchpad designer in the customizing mode. Okay, customizing client, customizings are always client specific, which means you have to log into that client first and then run this T code and then do the changes. It will run only in that client. So suppose we want to give access to a user or set of users an extra set of tiles in system, then we can use Launchpad Designer in that client with customizing mode. Okay, so then it's client dependent. So even you transport the Launchpad content between development, quality, production. In configuration, you will use workbench request type of request because it is cross client. In customizing, you will use a transport request of type customizing request. And now comes personalization. So let me take back to Gmail. So I go back to Gmail and I will say Gmail Christmas. During Christmas days, you might have added Christmas theme for Gmail, right? So the entire look and feel of Gmail changes to Christmas. Yes. So this kind of logo will come. Yes. Everything will change in Gmail with Christmas kind of flavor. Yes. So you have theme options in the Gmail settings, Gmail themes, which will change the look and feel of Gmail. Some people Gmail look like this. Yes. Some people Gmail look like this. Some people's Gmail look like this. Yeah. Everyone can change this. This is a setting in Gmail. You guys can go to Gmail and you can change the setting easily and you can see it, right? So each person's Gmail may look, some people's Gmail looks like this, right? Now, if you change the theme of your Gmail, let's say to this kind of theme, will it affect me? Will it affect my users? Anyone? If you change the Gmail theme like this, will it affect your fellow colleagues in your company? Will it affect you? It will only affect the user who apply this theme. इसका मेरे पे कोई असर नहीं पड़ेगा. It's your personalization. आपका personal space, your personal space. Just like desktop wallpaper. Yesterday we were discussing desktop wallpaper. If I change my desktop wallpaper, it has nothing to impact your mobile or your desktop because it's very personalized experience. So there are certain amount of things which you can personalize easily. You can change color scheme, color theme, look and feel, everything you can change. So many of things you can change, but it won't affect other users in the system. It will affect only and only one user, and that user is the one who did the personalization. So this is never transported. Actually, it's done directly in the quality and production system when the user is using the solution actually. So this is user specific settings like color themes. So in Launchpad you saw when we go to Launchpad, Fiori Launchpad. So if I go to Fiori Launchpad, so when you log in with my user, you will see that I will have here the user section and I can personalize now. So I can go here and I can go to settings. So इसके अंदर जो भी कुछ है ना सब personalization है. It's all personalization. So I can go here and I can change the theme. So yesterday I changed the theme from Quartz theme to SAP Bleach Deep Dark theme or Bleach Dark theme, Fiori 3 Dark theme. I save it and now I see it change everything. Yeah. But now if I log in with Alex user, will Alex also see black color? Anyone? Will Alex also see black color? No, because this is a personalization. I did this setting for myself. मैंने खुद का setting. If I change English language to French, German, a different language, if I change my date format, time format, all these are user specific settings. They are personalization settings. They will not affect anyone else in the team or in the company. They are very personalization settings. Okay, so that's the advantage of personalization. Personalization is like color theme settings. Yeah, sometimes you see table personalization. If you have worked with Fiori apps, you see sometime some apps will come. Let me open an app here just to show you an example. So if I go to this particular app, I can actually go ahead and change this setting here. You see this setting? Yeah, I can change any chart setting or anything. Yes, and I can make this chart and I say okay. And now I can save this, and this is saved. This is my personal setting. Next time when I come, I will only see this kind of a chart. Yes, this chart I will see. Next time when I come, I will see this chart actually, because I have personalized it. I have personalized it, and it's very personal to my own user. When another user log in, they will see a blank screen. Yeah, they will not see this chart or this setting what I just did, because I did it for my own user, with my own user. So all the table settings, all the variant settings, these variants, when you create them, they are all personalization settings. They are only specific to user. So all the variants which you create, all the settings in table, they are all example of personalization settings. They only affect, yes, layout of ALV, exactly, only affect the user who did it. Okay, it only affects the user who performed it, who did it. Only that user is affected. Now this takes the highest priority over the other settings. Now yesterday we were discussing about theme. So if you set a theme at system level, so the default theme in my system is the SAP Bleeze theme. But now this user mob 5 went ahead and changed the setting and changed the theme. Yeah, this user have changed the theme for himself. Next time when this user refresh or log in, इसका क्या reset हो जाएगा? Will it reset back to the default theme? No, because that's a personalization setting. For this user, it will always remain fixed, because user overwritten the standard setting. So this setting will take highest priority over system settings, what is being done. Okay, so that is what you can do with personalization. Like example, themes in Gmail is an example, good example to understand the concept of personalization. It affect only single user, but customizing affect multiple user in the same client. ये सारे यूजर को इफेक्ट करती है उस क्लाइंट के अंदर, और ये पूरे सिस्टम यूजर्स को इफेक्ट करती है, सारे यूजर्स को इफेक्ट करेगी पूरे सिस्टम में. So suppose you have 500 users in entire system. If I change a configuration, okay, my question to all of you guys, if I have 500 user in entire systems, if I change configuration, how many users will be affected? Very good answer.
500.
All 500, because it's a system level change, irrespective of client, irrespective of user, it will affect everybody. Now I have two client, client 100, client 200. In client 100, I have 300 users. In client 200, I have 200 users. If I do a customizing in client 100, how many users it will affect? Exactly, because 100 wale client mein, this is client 100, it will affect 300 users only. These 200 users will not even see the tile. So if you go and create a tile in customizing mode in client 100, then it will only these 300 user can eligible to see the tile. Okay, these 200 will never ever 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 never get a chance to see the tile ever, because you have created tile in custom mode. Then personalization, if I change position of a tile, if I change, so if I'm a user, I went to launchpad. Yes, I went to launchpad home, and now I change position of a tile. यहाँ से उठा के इसको आगे लगा दिया, इसको नीचे से उठा के ऊपर लगा दिया. So will it affect everybody in my system? What will happen अगर इसको इधर डाल दिया? So when you log in, will you see it like this? No, because this is a change only for user. You see, my home means my personal space. It is user specific. It only affects my current user, like your Alex. If Alex is doing it, Alex only will see this change. Other users will not be affected by this change, and this take highest priority. No matter what order you have decided on the tiles, this whatever user did, that will always take highest priority. You can't overwrite it. What you can max do, you can educate your users, You can just educate your users to teach them that what they should do. Okay, that's what max to max you can do. So guys, I don't want it to rush. We are already out of time. It's good at least we covered this topic. So now you know the basics. In the next class, what I'll do is I'll go to the system, I'll open the launchpad designer in configuration mode. I will also show you how to lock your changes in a transport request so that these changes can be delivered to your quality and production system. We will see this end to end in action in our next class, and then we'll talk about more detail about the content, where the content is managed, how the standard content of SAP looks like. I'm done with today's lesson. Time for your questions. Okay, no questions. Let's wrap up the class then. See you on Monday evening.